Did you ever wonder what would it take to destroy the internet? What kind of a terrible event of cataclysmic proportion would need to happen for the internet to cease to exist in its current form? Well, as it turns out, a bunch of old people sitting around a big room is more than enough. You see, us Europeans, we don't like it when America is better than us. We believe that, as the cradle of Western civilization, we deserve to be number one at everything. So, the folks over at Brussels finally decided to address some areas Europe is lagging behind in. You may think that maybe they decided to work towards increasing the average GDP per capita by boosting the economies of the newer member countries in order to increase the overall buying power and quality of life for its citizens. But nah, that would be too difficult, and who has time for that anyway? Instead, they addressed the real problem. For far too long has the place of the most hated person on the internet been held by an American, and it is about time someone did something about that. And boy did they. Not only did they overthrow Ajit Pai, the previous long-running champion, but with a single vote, they pushed him all the way to 439th place, firmly establishing European dominance. We all knew that Article 13 of the new EU Copyright Directive passing would be bad. But I don't think many realized just how bad it could be for YouTube in particular until just a few days ago, when our dear Susan posted a rather alarming blog post. But not me. When I first read the article, I understood every word of it. But I know that not all of you speak lawyer speak, so I'm gonna help you out. The gist of it is this. If the law is implemented, the person posting something on the internet will no longer be held responsible for breaking copyright law. Yay! Instead, the platform they are posting it on will. Not yay. To this, YouTube was like, hell no, I ain't gonna be responsible for 400 plus hours of content uploaded every minute. And I sure as hell won't trust some dodgy-ass algorithm with the millions and millions of dollars that we could get sued for. So, if the law passes as is, the only thing left to do would be to pull the plug. And not just for those breaking copyright law, but for everyone. Because if YouTube is now liable for a lawsuit, there's absolutely no way they will allow a single video to exist on their site that they are not 100% certain isn't breaking any copyright laws. And as I said, the algorithm in place now is dodgy at best. So the only way to make sure is by manual review. And to be legible for a manual review, you need to have a substantial number of views and subscribers. So, if we add 2 plus 2 together, we get... no more small YouTubers from Europe! Wait. Yes, if the law passes as is, it would seem that if you live in Europe and dream of one day becoming a YouTuber, well, tough luck. Go study and get a real job, you loser. This is pretty much the summary of the fear-mongering that has been going on for the past week or so. But is it really that bad? Sure, if we assume that YouTube will just bend over and let go of the 90 billion monthly views they get from the European Union. Yeah, like hell that is happening. Just 4 days after posting the blog post that reignited this discussion about Article 13, Susan packed her high heels and legged it across the Atlantic to Strasbourg. Why would she do that? I'm sure it is to represent all the creators on the platform and to lobby against the article by explaining the need for a free internet and even less strict copyright laws that will allow independent creators to thrive even more and at least try to get YouTube off of this corporate path that it has taken the past few years. No. It's to protect YouTube from any legal responsibility in case the law is passed. Basically, with this law, the European Union is saying, do something. And YouTube has now jumped on this opportunity by saying, we are doing something. We are actually the best in the world at doing it. It isn't perfect, but it's the best anyone's got. Is that enough? I doubt the EU will say it isn't enough, because they can't demand the impossible, right? So the most likely outcome is that YouTube's algorithm will become the norm, and every other social media network will simply be forced to implement its Content ID system in one way or another. And where does that leave the cataclysmic end of days? It certainly isn't all flowers and rainbows, and it's definitely an attack on internet culture, but I think it'll take a lot more for the normies to take away our memes. So yeah, I feel pretty confident when I say that Article 13 will have very little effect on YouTube itself. Apart from some channels who post exclusively someone else's music, who honestly deserve to get banned, I doubt anyone's content will be removed. The only real difference will be that the current practice of abusing copyright law by large companies will now have a legal background. Which is of course the complete opposite of what we should be striving for, and is something we should fight as loudly as possible to prevent. But, to all those calling the end of days, please stop panicking. The Content ID system has existed for years, and copyright holders have been able to determine what happens with their content for just as long, if not longer. They could have decided to remove every video with their content 1,000,000 times, but they didn't. Why? Because it suits them to have more exposure and more money coming in from various sources. They want more videos with their content because it means they could get more money from it. It is in no one's interest to ban video essay channels, commentary channels, movie reviewers, or anyone else who relies on other people's content to make a living. This way everyone gets a piece of the pie, and money from audiences they would never otherwise be able to reach, or make a penny off of. So quite frankly, why anyone thinks Article 13 was even necessary to begin with is beyond me. Even all these musicians who are advocating for it are full of poop. As I said, they and their record labels already have the option to remove every song they own from YouTube. They choose not to do so, so I would like to ask them to please shut the fuck. Now, this is only regarding Article 13 and its impact on YouTube. Its consequences on the rest of the internet could be a bit more severe. And as for Article 11, which I would say is far more dangerous and deserves a lot more attention than it's getting, there's really only one thing to say. EU, F you.